Hi, this video will take you through the additional sources that you've been assigned to better understand the concept of ayin tachat ayin in week 7. I gave you some introductory material about Ibn Ezra, as well as about Rav Sadia Gaon and Ben Zuta, who are the two people quoted by Ibn Ezra in his commentary on ayin tachat ayin. So here's his comment on the word ayin. Amar Rav Sadia. Lo nuchal lefaresh pasuk kimashma'o. We can't explain this pasuk the way it sounds. Ayin tachat ayin can't mean what it sounds like it means. Ki im adam hika in chaviro, v'sara shlishit or einav. What about a case? What if a person hits the eye of another person and a third of that person's eyesight disappears? How could it possibly be that the person who was injured would be able to hit back the first person, or anyone would be able to hit that first person, the injurer, in exactly the same way, removing exactly a third of that person's eyesight without addition or subtraction? It would be very hard to do literally ayin tachat ayin and inflict exactly the same injury as was given to the first person. That's a reason not to read this pasuk the way it sounds. Maybe in hitting back, you might knock out all of their eyesight instead of just a third, which was the injury that was originally inflicted. And it's even harder with the burn and the wound and all the other kinds of wounds that are mentioned in the Torah, not just ayin tachat ayin, but petza tachat petza, etc. Because what if they're in a dangerous place? And maybe in returning that wound, the person will actually die. And that, we can't wrap our mind around that. That can't possibly be true. That can't possibly be what the Torah meant. And this is a very real possibility, especially in a time before antibiotics, which certainly applies to the Torah and certainly applies to the time of the Ibn Ezra and Rav Sadia Gaon, that if you gave somebody a wound, there was a very real chance that they could die from the infection. And that the idea that someone would knock out your eye and you'd try to damage them back but wind up accidentally killing them, that cannot be, says Rav Sadia, that cannot be what the Torah meant. Amar lo ben Zuta, this Karaite figure, says back to him, V'halo katuv b'makom acher ka'asher yiten mum ba'adam ken yinaten bo. But doesn't it say elsewhere, isn't there another pasuk that says, when you blemish a person, so shall be given back to them? Right? It's not just ayin tachat ayin that you have to contend with. There are other psukim that sound this way also. V'hagaon hishiv, and Rav Sadia Gaon responded, Yesh lanu lo yesh lanu bet, hishiv lo. Yesh lanu bet tachat al. We have a bet instead of an al. So it's, we have the be, ken yinaten bo, v'hine ta'amo ken yinaten alav onesh. But really it means you should bestow upon him a punishment, not that you should do to him exactly what was done. Uben Zuta hishivlo, and the Karaite responds to him, Ka'asher asa ken ya'aseh lo. No, but what about this phrase, Ka'asher asa ken ya'aseh lo? Again, more words in the Torah that you have to contend with. And Ben Zuta further says, Im haya hamakeh ani, ma yeh onsho. Ben Zuta says, it says you have to do exactly what was done, and you want to tell me that it's monetary payments. What if the hitter, what if the injurer is poor? He won't be able to pay. So then what will be his or her punishment? V'hagaon hishiv, and Rav Sadia Gaon responds, Im iver ya'aver ein pikeach ma ya'aseh lo. What if a blind person blinds the eye of someone who can see? Then, even if you want to take ayin tachat ayin literally, what would the punishment be, right? Your argument about poor and rich works the same for someone who's blind who blinds the eye of someone who could see before. Ki ha'ani yitachen sheyeh ashir v'yishalem. At least a poor person maybe eventually will come into some money, will inherit some money, will make some money, and be able to pay back. Rak ha'iver lo yuchal l'shalem le'olam. But a blind person would never be able to pay back. If we said it was literally an ayin tachat ayin, eyesight for eyesight, the non-seeing person, the blind person, is never going to be able to fulfill that. Vehaklal, and the rule is, lo nuchal lefaresh al derech mitzvot haTorah, pirush shalem, im lo nismach al divrei Chazal. We cannot fully explain the mitzvot of the Torah if we do not rely on the words of Chazal. The Torah literally cannot be understood. Literally, it cannot be understood without the words of Chazal. Ki ka'asher kibalnu haTorah min ha'avot, ken kibalnu Torah sheba'al peh ein hefresh beinehem. Just as we received the Torah, presumably the written Torah, from our forefathers, from our ancestors, so too we received the oral Torah, and there's no separation between them. V'hinei hiya perush ayin tachat ayin, ra'ui lihiyoto eino tachat eino, im lo yiten kaparo. And the explanation of ayin tachat ayin is that it would be appropriate to have it be an eye for an eye, if it weren't for the fact that he provides this kapara money, this atonement money. So that's what the Torah is telling us, but it was never meant to be literally an eye for an eye, because there's no distinction between Torah shebechsav and Torah sheba'al peh. There's no separation between them, and this was always what it meant. That's Ibn Ezra. Similarly, the Rambam, who you're probably familiar with, spells out this idea, I think even more clearly, this final idea presented by the Ibn Ezra, without the argument back and forth that precedes it. Zeh shene'amar b'Torah, ka'asher yiten mum ba'adam ken yinaten bo, eino lachbol bazeh kemo shechaval b'chaveiro. When it says ka'asher yiten mum ba'adam ken yinaten bo, all these psukim about do to him what he did to you, that does not mean you should damage someone the way they damaged you. Ela shehu ra'ui lechasro ever, o lachbol bo, ka'asher asah. Rather to tell you that it's appropriate, it would be fitting. You deserve, the punishment you deserve is to get back what you did. So if you poked out someone's eye, you really do deserve to have your eye poked out. Ulefichach mishalem nisko, and therefore he pays the nezek. In other words, the monetary payment is to tell you that you really deserve to have that happen, and the best way to do that, the most appropriate way to do that, is for you to pay the nezek payment. The pasuk that we've seen already in the Gemara says, Lo tichu kofer lenefesh rotzeach. You shouldn't take money for the life of a murderer. Don't take an atonement payment for the life of a murderer. L'rotzeach bilvad hu she'ein bo kofer. It's only a murderer who can't pay their way out of the situation. Aval l'chasroni varim o l'chabalot yesh bo kofer. But when it comes to damaging somebody else or cutting off a limb, then there is kofer, there is an atonement amount to be paid. So again, Rambam making it clear that the wording of the Torah tells you something important. It tells you that, you really deserve this and you should have that in mind when you pay the nezek payment, but the nezek payment, the monetary compensation, is the best way to accomplish this. Now we move on to Megillat Ta'anit, a little bit different because Rambam and Ibn Ezra both make it clear that we cannot imagine a world where you actually do ayin tachat ayin. Ibn Ezra in particular makes it clear that the words of the written Torah, Torah shebechsav, were always inseparable from Torah sheba'al peh. But here's a little bit of a different take, and I gave you some background to Megillat Ta'anit, which is a rabbinic work that you might not be familiar with. Amru lahem chachamim. The chachamim, the rabbis of the rabbinic tradition, say, Halo katuv al pi haTorah asher yerucha b'gomer melamed she'ein kotfin halachot b'sefer. So there's a pasuk, I gave it to you down here, from Tzvarim. You should act in accordance with the instructions given to you. HaTorah asher yerucha. And the rabbis say from here, this means we don't write down halachot. And this was a very important part of the Torah sheba'al peh, the belief for a long time that it should not be written down. Davar acher, Sefer Gizrata, shayu b'tusin omrim. And here's a different thing, a different idea from these Gezerot, that the Bitusin, again, these Karaitic type sect, they said, Ayin tachat ayin, shen tachat shen. So they read this pasuk, Hipil adam shen chaviro yapil et simein chaviro yasameh et eino. If you knock out someone's tooth, your tooth should be knocked out. If you blind someone's eye, your eye should be blinded. Yu shavim ke'echad. And then they'll be equal like one. That's what should happen. Uparsu hasima lifnei ziknei ha'ir dvarim kichtavan. And this also, I actually didn't give you this pasuk. This is a sort of a side point. This is a pasuk about how we determine if a woman who gets married is really a virgin or not. And about this pasuk also, the Bitusin say we take it literally, but we're not gonna look at that pasuk. It's a little bit off topic for us. When someone spits in your face, you spit in their face. This is also a side point, another piece that they're arguing should be taken literally. Amru lahem chachamim. The chachamim say, back to the Bitusin, v'halo katuv, haTorah v'hamitzvah asher katavti lahorotam. Don't we have this other pasuk, which I also gave you? haTorah v'hamitzvah asher katavti lahorotam. God said, right, come up to the mountain, and I'm going to give you these luchot, these tablets that have Torah and the mitzvah, the teachings and the commandments that I wrote on them in order to teach them, in order to instruct them. So here's what the Chachamim say about that pasuk: HaTorah asher katavti v'hamitzvah lahorotam. Right, it's the Torah that I've written. In other words, they divide it. It says HaTorah v'hamitzvah asher katavti lahorotam. They divide it up. They say HaTorah asher katavti. Right, the Torah is a reference to the written Torah that I've written. V'hamitzvah, and the mitzvah part of it, these instructions, were to teach, were oral. Uktiv, and it also says in the Torah, ve'ata kitvu lachem et hashira hazot v'limdad b'nei Yisrael sima b'fihem. Also, a pasuk that I gave you down here, from Sefer Dvarim, from late in the Sefer Dvarim, write down this song, write down this poem, and teach it to Bnei Yisrael, put it in their mouths so that it will always be in their mouths forever. The Shira here could refer to a specific Shira or maybe to the entire Torah. And what the Chachamim say is, V'lamda et Bnei Yisrael ze mikra. Teach it to Bnei Yisrael. That's the written Torah. That's part of the previous pasuk. HaTorah asher katavti. Sima b'fihem, and the part that you should put in their mouths, right? Not something that you can just show them, but something that they have to be able to recite. Elu halachot. Those are the halachot. So in other words, the Chachamim are saying, you know what, we've always had an oral and a written tradition. The written tradition is written, the oral tradition is oral, but they're meant to go together. Yom Shabbatluhu asa'uhu Yom Tov. And the day that they annulled, that they got rid of what seems like the literal reading of Ayin Sechad Ayin, they made that day into a holiday. One more source here. Well, I'm not going to read for you the entire Mishnah, which you already saw. Adam muad le'olam, a person is always held responsible, a person is always considered forewarned, like a shor muad, an ox that has gored before, and therefore a person is always held responsible for their actions. The Gemara asks, Minahani milai, from where are these words? How do we know that this is true? Amar Chizkiah, Chizkiah said, V'chen taned b'Chizkiah, and it was also taught in the house of Chizkiah. Amar Kra, the pasuk says, Petza techa petza, a wound for a wound. L'chayvo al hashogeg k'mezid ve'al ha'ones keratzon. This pasuk, these words in the Torah, teach us that a person is obligated for doing something by accident, the same as if they did it on purpose, and they're held responsible for doing something beyond their control, just as if they had done it by the force of their own will. And Rashi explains, Petza tacha petza kraya tera hulahach drasha. It's because it's a kraya tera. We've seen this reasoning before. It's an extra pasuk. These are extra words. Petza tacha petza is extra because it already said ki ten mumba mito kasher asara. We have lots of psukim that basically say the same thing, right? You should do to him what he did to you, and the idea is we didn't need another one. And so the fact that it's another one is to tell you a wound on account of a wound that was inflicted, right, tells you even things that are beyond your control. It doesn't matter. And we can think more about, and we will discuss more about, what it means to say that humans, even if it was an accident, you don't get out of payment for damages just because it was an accident. Maybe different in terms of the interpersonal relationships. Maybe some of the other payments are affected by that, but the nezek payment, the payment for the damage you did, that damage is still done, and humans are always held responsible. We'll stop here.